Hey everybody, it's Jody here with Pugh Leadership Academy and Dr. Melanie Pugh's office. And this is podcast vlog episode number 5. Now, we recently started this podcast vlogging series to answer the questions that we see out there in Facebook groups or in Reddits or comment on things that we see in dental magazines and give our perspective on these types of questions and so forth. And we are a practice that used to be in network with insurance, and we are no longer in network with insurance. We consider our practice the dream practice because we have a practice that delivers joy to our owner doctor. Our associates are happy. Our team finds meaning in their work. Our patients want to be part of our family almost. And so we really wanted to put something out and show the dental world what we did and how we did it, because when we were coming up over the years or through the years, never were really able to find that voice out there that really resonated with us, or that particular philosophy that resonated with us. And we had to blaze our own trail. And prior to working with Melanie in the dental practice, I worked in the corporate world. My experience and expertise is really on the human side of business, the marketing, customer service, sales, employee engagement, culture. Those are the things that I really specialize in, I guess you could say. And my heart is to share the things that we've implemented into our practice that's enabled us to do what we have done. And so what I wanted to do was go through and answer some of these questions or speak about some of these topics from our perspective, because it's going to be a little different maybe than some of the others. Now, I think that these questions that happen in Reddits or message boards or Facebook groups are not always going to elicit a great response, because you can ask a question and then you'll have a lot of different people give you different answers, but you really don't know who those people are. You don't know what their experience is. You don't know what their priorities are. You don't know any of that stuff. And so you're just getting this sort of random information or random ideas that you have to sort through when you really don't know anything about the person or where they're coming from or what their priorities are. So I've shared a little bit about our practice, and we're going to answer a couple of questions today that have come through. I'm going to use my glasses here and so I can read the questions. But the first question was, how do I choose between a high associate salary and owning my own practice? I have no idea where this question came from. I had a VA kind of scour the internet for a bunch of questions that she was seeing, and so we're just kind of taking them. But the answer to that question is, for me, if you came to me as a young dentist and said, hey, trying to decide between a high associate salary or maybe owning my own practice, I would say, well, first you need to ask yourself some questions, or I would ask you these questions to say, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, what are your financial goals? What are your lifestyle goals? What are your achievement goals? For some of us, we really want to achieve something and be able to be proud of the work that we've done or the thing that we've created. And what are your goals? What are your goals 5 years from now, 20 years from now? And really think that through, because you can't just go, well, should I take this or that? You really have to understand what you're trying to accomplish. I think most people would do that or think about that whenever they were trying to decide between these two career options. The other thing I would say is, where are you in your career? And, young dentists, a lot of times these days, have these massive student loans. Also, if you've only been practicing for a very limited amount of time, do you have the experience clinically to go out and be on your own? That would be really another question I would ask. And then this is the really significant piece of information I can share with you that you may not know or may never have thought of. Because most of the other things I'll share with you are things that most people would think through as they're going through trying to decide between this high paying associateship or owning their own practice. And this is the thing that I would say. are you an entrepreneur? And what I mean by that is, are you a hardwired entrepreneur? And this is the thing that I think is why so many dentists are stressed out and unhappy. If you go to dental school and you think, someday I want to have a little sign out front, I want to own my own practice, that's normal. But are you wired up for that lifestyle? About 5% of people are hardwired entrepreneurs, according to one of my friends in the world of consulting. I don't know where that number comes from, but she said 5%. 5% of people are hardwired entrepreneurs. Hardwired entrepreneur is that person that they just know how to make money. They can be have all kinds of stuff going on, and they sleep like a baby at night. They just have that thing about them, and most of us don't have that. And so in dental school, when you go to dental school, you go and you think, well, someday I'm going to have my little office. And you don't understand that it's really hard to own a practice. It's really hard to own a practice that doesn't stress you out. It's really hard to own a practice that doesn't suck the life out of you or your time and energy and all that out of you. And when you look around and go, well, how did that guy do it? Or how did that lady doctor or whatever, doctor or dentist do it? A lot of these people are just wired up that way. They're just hardwired entrepreneurs. And some of them just sort of grind themselves through it or use grit or whatever. But that's a big question that I would ask people is like, are you wired up? Do you like stress? Are you able to navigate stress? Is that something that you are very comfortable with? Because it is hard owning a practice. The next question I would say is, what are your skills? To me, owning a practice is going to be best if you're really good at process skills and people skills. Are you able to see your workflow and processes and implement a process-based workflow in all of the different areas within your practice? And are you really good with people, not just patients, but also with your employees? Are you intuitive there? And if you have, even if you say, well, I'm not really an entrepreneur, I don't think I was wired up to be an entrepreneur, but you're really good with processes and you're really good with people, then maybe owning that practice is a great idea or a great opportunity for you versus the high-paying associateship. Another question I would say is, what opportunities do you have? So maybe you're like, man, I want to own a practice, but this associateship opportunity is really, really awesome. Okay, well, maybe it's better to take this associateship versus trying to go out on your own. Just because where you live, maybe there's not a great opportunity, maybe it's not a great market, maybe there's just not great opportunities for that, but this other opportunity outweighs your desire. The opportunity, this golden opportunity at this really great associateship outweighs your desire to start your own practice or own your own practice, at least right now. A lot of factors would come in to determine that. And those are the questions that I would talk through with a dentist. If you are out of dental school for 2 years and you've got $350,000 of student debt, don't start a practice. I would definitely not do that. If you don't have any process skills and people skills, I wouldn't say start a practice. If you are have been out there for a while, your debt is paid off, and you've got a lot of experience, then that's more of someone who I would say, that's good to start a practice there. But I will say this: if you're in a situation where you don't have a good opportunity as an associate, there's no opportunities for you to have a great associateship, then maybe even if you don't meet these other requirements that I've been talking through, maybe that's still your best option. The point is, there's literally no clear right or wrong answer to that, but those are the things that I would talk through. And what I would say is this: I've been with Melanie since the summer before her second year of dental school in 1991. We got married in 1995, right after she graduated from dental school. And I've been with her through associateships in Appalachian public health, inner city public health, corporate, private practice insurance offices, and private fee-for-service private practices. And I can tell you that associateships, it's from my perspective, and talking to associates that we have in our office and what their friends, where their friends work and everything, associateships are not always perfect. And so making a ton of money as an associate may not necessarily be the lifestyle you want, just simply because you're not a right fit in that associateship or in that particular office. So there's just so much to think about. And these types of questions on Facebook groups or in message boards or Reddits, it's really not a good place to get a good answer for that type of thing, because there's just so many things to try to figure out. And the number one thing I would say to the person trying to make that decision is talk to mentors, some people who have a lot of experience and can give you some insight based on them knowing you and your priorities and your strengths and weaknesses and all of that. Now, the second question is, what are the pros and cons of having kids or a family as a dentist? And when I read this, I was like, is this a real question? Is someone really asking this question? And I don't mean that to be in a condescending or judgmental way. It's just from my perspective and our family perspective. Melanie's not a dentist first. I'm not a business manager or advisor or marketing guy or whatever first. That's just what we do. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. She's a mom. She's a wife. And so for us, thinking through that, I would be a janitor to have my kids. I want to have kids. There's nothing that has brought us more joy than our children. And so what I would say is, have your kids, man. You'll figure it out. Have your kids. Money's tight. Have kids. You own a practice. It's really stressful. Have kids. Just have kids. So that's our perspective on it. I think Delane and what we did is we got kind of wrapped up in that early career, and the generation we came up in was like career. And we kind of put the career and achievement first and had kids a little bit later. And we look back, both of us now, with saying that is not what we would recommend to other people. I think you have your kids and they come first. Everything else sort of builds around that, and you'll figure it out. So for that, I would say, one, make sure your identity is who you are as a person. For Melanie and I will tell you, because of our faith, we identify through our Christian faith as children of God. And so our whole identity is wrapped up in that. We just happen to do our jobs. And I would encourage, whatever your view is or whatever your faith is, I would definitely encourage you to not wrap your identity into what you do. I would wrap your identity in who you are, and then go be great at what you do, but that's not who you are. And I would say, number one, do that. And then number two is have your kids. Have your kids. Life is better with kids. I can't overstate that enough. So anyhow, those are the answers to the questions through our perspective here and how we do things in our practice. I hope that these are things that you enjoy listening to. We're going to continue to answer some of these questions that we've gone through, and we're going to go through some of the give some insights into some of the periodicals out there as well. I have one on my desk right now that we're going to be talking about. And as we go through that, just keep in mind, never ever looking at how other people do things to be critical of what they're doing. We all have different priorities and we all have different paths. So our priority is what we're doing, and we just want to share what we've done that's helped us to be successful, and share what we've done that's made us fail in a lot of ways, what we've learned with others who may have the same types of priorities that we do. So wherever you're listening to this, would really appreciate it if you can do all those things, like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps. So thank you guys. We'll see you in the next one.